All right, so I'm here with John Otto, drummer for Limp Bizkit, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, John.
What's up, man?
Dude, it's so awesome to see you,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Dude, John happens to be probably one of my biggest influences playing. Like, all the groove stuff that I've come up with is all based off of a lot of what John has done and has, inspired me with.
Thank you
and
very
I'm
much.
sure he's inspired a lot of you guys. So let's talk your setup, man. I see that you've got your red fur. Is that the finish? What's the finish called?
Yeah, it's kind of, the look is kind of like a Kango fur, the fuzzy Kango hats.
Yeah.
It's kind of what the idea behind that was.
What is your current setup like? I know you've got one rack tom here and then a floor tom, and you're playing the old school kit.
This is kind of a broken down version of what I usually use. I usually have 3 crashes up here. The chinas are right. I usually put one more splash here. I usually do 2 rack toms and 2 floor toms, and the double bass pedal, and then a second snare over here and a mini hi-hat.
Dude, I remember seeing this kit on your on the tours back in like the late '90s.
Oh yeah. This kit's definitely probably about 16 years old, maybe. Yeah, it was one of the first ones that I had made. That they made for me over there at OCDP. I mean, I use all different kinds of setups though. It just depends on the tour, like what I'm feeling, because I kind of like to switch it up because, you guys built me that gigantic, humongo rack, and
The metal looking
rack. That's when I had Neil Peart syndrome, but yeah, I kind of just scaled down a little bit just to try to challenge myself in different ways.
Why do you set up? You mentioned that you have like 2 toms. And they're offset compared to like a normal stock setup that you would see.
Yeah, they're offset because I like to just kind of be more at an angle, and plus I'm using the double pedal, so it's just I don't know, it feels. I just like the way it feels a little bit better,
Just kind of easier to get to.
Yeah, it's easier. I think it's easier, and plus I like I like the ride to be kind of tight next to me. You know what I mean? And if it's over here, then it's kind of gets away from me a little bit.
Right, tweaks your shoulder out.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned that your setup has changed throughout the time. Like, how many, what was it like when you were 20 years old versus what it is now?
It hasn't really gotten too much different. I've either just added more drums or my cymbal setup has always kind of been about the same, because that's a lot of what I do in my band is a lot of different accents with cymbals, so it's, that really hasn't changed too much, but it's just whether I want to go full metal or not full metal. I think I've gotten smart, they say as you get older, you get kind of smarter about how you're doing things. Before I was just kind of like, just go for it type mentality, and instead of like really trying to see what fits better for me, and I think now it's just gotten more about what's easier to get to without using too much motion. That's how my setup's kind of changed. And then it's also like, do I want to play real kick drums or do I want to just use a double pedal?
What do you prefer? For double pedal or 2 kick drums?
I don't know. I don't know. I really love this pedal.
You got you're playing the G class pedal, right?
Yeah, the G's. I really, really love that pedal. They're just they're 2 different animals, I mean, on the one hand, I think more naturally I like 2 kick drums, but then it messes up my space that I like to have everything else in because, so it's like, I kind of like the more simpler kind of setup right now, so I guess I'm going to have to go with the double bass pedal. 2 kick drums are easier to play, you know what I mean?
Oh, because there's the feel of the left pedal is different.
Right.
Let's talk about your rack for a second. When you first came to the company, you were playing this ginormous
Huge.
double-tiered rack.
Yes.
So why did you make the choice to change over to stands?
Because that particular setup was for, 2 kick drums. It was a metal kind of like, Lars Ulrich, Neil Peart kind of setup, and I just kind of wanted to get down to more of a tighter, cleaner, more beat, simple setup, because I just want it's a different kind of feel, It's like, when you're closer in and everything's right up on here, I can just kind of get into grooves better than when it's like you're like kind of like, whoa, everything's, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the reason why I just kind of just want to switch it up.
So let's talk about the G-Class pedal a bit, because that pedal is like one of the most talked about releases last year.
Oh yeah.
And it was a big release for Gibraltar, and I want to know what your thoughts are on it. You've been playing it for a while.
I love it. It's the best pedal I've ever used, hands down, out of any pedal that I've ever used for my whole, since I've been playing drums, since I was a kid.
How would you describe the feel of the pedal?
The feel of the pedal is real smooth and real clean. It's smooth. It's like there's no weird tension. There's nothing. It's just very precise. Yeah. Surgical. That's what I would describe it as.
Surgical?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good description. I've never heard that before. And a question that I'm always like curious about. This is just for me. How many weights do you use in the beater heads?
None.
None. You just like it. You just like them light and just fly.
Light and fly with the wind. Yeah.
Okay.